Welcome to the world's most fabulous people series. I am your host, Tonya Hofmann, and I'm so excited to be here today. The Public Speakers Association is a sponsor of this event, and we adore the people that come on, including our incredible fabulous guest star, Mr. Jim Pagiamtzis. Hey, Jim.
Hello everyone. Hi, Tonya.
So, Jim, tell us a little bit about what you do, who you are, what are you up to nowadays?
Great. So my name is Jim Pagiamtzis. I'm here in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Well, it's really kind of still cold here. We're trying to get into the summer here, unfortunately. So I do three things: learn, speak, and socialize, leading to monetize. I've had a chance to speak for 9 years now. Next year, my 10th year speaking. I've had an interesting journey from working in the corporate world and at the same time building my own businesses, I would say, since 2003. And I've evolved since then. A lot of great things have happened, and a lot of it has happened because of the act of networking. So I want to talk a little bit about how that, why that's important, and what I've done, and how everyone watching this can really do the same. And I'll share some of the stories that happened to me recently, and go from there.
Awesome. So how does it feel to be this fabulous?
You know, it's a great experience, but I have to tell you, sometimes when you're, I'll show you a story. So when I first started speaking, my mentor always said to me, always get better. And one of the tips was record yourself. So when I first started speaking, I got a camera, back then a little digital camera, and I record myself. And that's what I was doing, training and so forth. Sometimes it would be half an hour, 45 minutes. Now, the thing I was doing is I was recording myself, and at the end of the session, a couple hours later, I would go and upload the video and watch it. And I'd watch the video and I go, who the hell is that guy? I was so dismayed by what I had said. I could see all the mistakes I was making and what I didn't like about what I said. And maybe there was a few things because it was very, very, it was very close. I was very close to the video because I just did it. And then when I went back to my mentor, I told him what I said. He goes, so he started laughing. He says, oh, no, wait about 4 or 5 days. Then watch the video again. So when I watched the video again, what I saw was pure, brilliant mastery, because some time had passed and I could see what I was doing instead of what I was feeling. Because the audience doesn't know what's going through your head. And this is some of the stuff you've talked about in your trainings is they don't know what's going on in your head. They don't know what you've gone through to get there. They're just carrying what you're listening to. And so I became really enamored and saying, okay, I'm doing better. And then I had a joke going around. And I said, man, give me the Academy Award, the Emmy. I earned this. I mean, that was awesome. And I started sharing them on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. And I have a number of ones now that have reached 1,000 views. And I think two things, either because the content's really good, and I think I'm really interesting and how I do things. But it's not that easy. I think a lot of people are still skeptical to record themselves.
Well, obviously, so it's obvious that you haven't always been this fabulous, right? It's about a journey.
Oh, it's a journey. I was terrible. I'll share some of the follies later on at the culmination of this. We'll have some fun. But I think that also you want to capture that, because there's things that you're doing well, and you want to capture that, and things you want to improve on. And I think evolving and becoming a great orator, a speaker, is about being able to evaluate yourself. And I also had some other things where I had some friends in the audience who come and watch you speak. And they do like an audit on me, and they would say, okay, this and that. And that was hard too, for people to evaluate me, to say this is what you're doing better. But again, it was a suggestion by a friend of mine to do this. He was part of another group here in Toronto. And I learned a lot of positioning and what I'm doing with my paperwork. So it was an ongoing journey of failure to success. And because I was doing a lot, I got right into the sort of the training area. I was doing trainings on how to attract a mentor. My friend said, you were teaching about mentorship? Yeah, I was. I know it sounds really boring, ladies and gentlemen, but it was the framework of what to look for in a leader in our framework, because I was learning. and then I was applying. So I'm really thankful for a lot of organizations who hired me back then on a premise of writing 3 articles. I hadn't written no book in 2008, ladies and gentlemen. It was just 3 articles, and that's a whole other discussion. But I went around Toronto, I did that. And today people go, and you succeeded? I go, yeah, I did, because I had no inhibitions. I know it's a big word, but I really had no inhibitions. And I'm really proud that I did it. But again, it was about moving forward and doing that. And I uncovered, and one of my real passions is networking. And I really went out there, shake hands, met with people, followed up. And that's what I became known for, as a networker for a very long time. And a lot of my friends still think I was a networker, even though I've evolved into a trainer and a speaker and trainer and so forth. But for me, I'm okay with that, because I was just teaching networking last week, and I had an unfortunate situation where I went from 15 minutes to 8 minutes.
Yeah. I'm
like, what am I going to do? And all of a sudden, whatever clicked in me clicked in, and I actually brought the audience, and I started asking them questions. And it's something that you had talked about maybe about 4 or 5 months ago in your trainings about engaging the audience, something of that nature. Maybe subconsciously, I remembered, and people were commenting to me. That was brilliant. And a lot of people and then at the end, people were coming to me and speak to me. So it became an innate ability that I've done. And on my card, I've put your engagement specialist. And it's something that I didn't coin, actually. Someone else who saw me speak coined this for me. And again, it goes back to what you've been talking about. All these, I'm referring to the trainings, the PSA, this monthly training. So I have these aha moments because I was doing them on the roll. I didn't have this in trainings when I was, back then. So everything makes sense to me that Tonya's been sharing and the group has been sharing over the past year. So it's very important, but it's all about doing it.
Right. So do you have a really quick tip that you could give us today?
I think one of the most important things to do is you are speaking, but one of the things is involve the audience. I think that you have to be, they're there to listen to you. So don't be afraid to ask them a question. Now, I think sometimes you maybe feel uncomfortable to give away that power, but I think that they've paid to sit down to hear you speak. So if you have a chance, I'll have them ask you a question, or reach out and ask them a question, and you still have control. So don't be afraid to have for inclusion into the audience, to get them feel that they're there with you, they're present with you. And that's what I did on that Wednesday, and it worked out really well.
Awesome. Now, I know if you're like me, you've had some fabulously embarrassing moments, but you learned something from them, right? Do you have something to share?
Oh, boy, where do I start? Okay, so Tonya has not heard any of these, ladies and gentlemen. These are newbies, so she falls over, So I've spoken in all different environments, small groups, 20 to 100. So one of the most hilarious ones that happened to me is I was speaking at an event, and I was on a stage, and there was about 30 people. Now, they're all looking at me. Well, there's a woman in the last row breastfeeding her kid. Okay, she was in the last row. So they couldn't see her. I could see her. I was in the middle of doing my kind of closing, and I looked back, and she's, I was like, I just kind of, lost my train of thought for like 3 seconds. The DJ, he started cracking up. He was beside me because he was watching the audio. It made me stop. It was to this day hilarious. I mean, but I've had people fall asleep on me. I had video of a guy falling asleep. And what I was doing years back, again, I would have the microphone and I would walk into the audience. I literally walk and I hit the guy and he woke up. People falling asleep. All of a sudden, once I got strangled by a lanyard, I was wearing my exhibitor badge, and I put it twice, and it was slowly getting on the neck.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, but the doozy one is I almost got hurt. Two of them I used to speak on not big stages, but elevated stages. So once I told the guy, I goes, "Can I go into the audience?" I go, "Be careful, use the stairs." So I got to my talk. I was really nervous, and I literally put my foot right at the edge of the thing. The person in the front row jumped, thinking I was going to go over, but I felt my momentum, and I grabbed the the podium. The whole audience, they were like this. Watch, and all of a sudden, I almost fell. They were ready to, like, they were laughing because they thought, oh, we're gonna see a blooper here. But I've almost fallen off stages. I had, sometimes there was wires going on the ground. This video of me wrapping my foot around a wire, and I kick it instinctively out of the way. I watched it like an instant replay. I go, that was the best kick of a wire ever. So I've had a lot of, almost on stages, people falling asleep, just all sorts of stuff. Yeah. The dooziest, though, the one that's going to stick with me forever, my first talk ever, in Toronto, the Marriott Hotel, back-to-back talks of mentorship. I'm on stage, first talk in front of maybe 50 people. I had a heckler in the first row, okay? He was heckling me about mentorship and something. Well, wouldn't you know it, I tell you, I'm a spiritual, God must have been there that day. My mentor, Max Haroon, came in from one end. Another guy who kind of didn't know that well came from the other, and they swooped in, and they dealt with him.
Nice.
I was sweating. Like, I didn't know what, we're arguing about. He was heckling about mentorship. And then he kind of left, and I went back and I thanked him too. So I had a heck of my first talk. So, right? Because I don't know, maybe just what bad mood. But, I've had instances where 6 months ago, I had a guy who was just in bad shape, and he was threatening to make a big brouhaha about the event. And I said, sir, the door's right there. Don't let it hit you while you're on the way out. On the mic in front of everybody. It was about 40 people. And I dealt with some objections. I said, listen, you don't understand, the organizer went through so much room to get these people here. If you don't like it, leave. He shut up the whole day, and he stayed there, and he came back and apologized to me later. So you got to deal with those situations. And I think that's why this is a journey. And you have to be cognizant and understanding that you're going to have these happen. And it's about experience in doing it. So my biggest thing I tell speakers is speak a lot to get over this stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And what I've learned, obviously, the last 2-3 years is preparedness. So now, I ask a lot of questions for the organizer. And again, Tonya talks about this a lot. How big's the room? Is there a podium? All of these questions. So before I even go, I do a test. I do a mic check. All this stuff before. So I go half an hour early, and I make sure that everything's working. So again, it comes with experience, but you're going to have those situations. Mic's not working, lights turning off, light blindness, like you're on a stage and the lights are on you and you can't see the audience, things like that. And again, it's all about doing it. And that's why I recommend everyone watching this, don't be afraid to go speak. Just go out and do it. These things will happen. It's just par for the course, and
right.
It's a journey at the end of the day.
So do you have something fabulous to share our listeners?
Yeah, so what I like to do is I have an amazing website, and on the website I've done 3 things. Is I made it engaging for everyone to reach out to me, to learn, and to connect. So it's www.JIMPAGIAMTZIS.ca. So when you get on the site, there's 3 things you can do. First, you can enter my monthly contest. So enter it, and then I pick a winner every month, and you have a conversation with me for a whole hour. You can download what I've written about. I've written about a lot of cool topics, from networking, LinkedIn, and many other leadership. So if you click on the book, you get to a hidden page, and you can read some of the books. There's some videos of me speaking to see my speaking style. And if you're really interested in having me speak on a radio show, at your event, whatever it is, you can send me a contact in email through that site as well.
Awesome. So jimpagiamtzis.com, or was it
.ca.
.ca. And so just look at his name. I have it written out there for y'all to see, so that way you can figure out how to spell it right. But go and get connected with Jim. He's a movie star too. We haven't even talked about that. So you'll see. That's
another show.
Exactly.
That's another show
back on that.
I'll come back later in the year.
Perfect.
But that'd be a cool conversation because again, it comes back to leverage and networking, and love to speak about that later in the year if you like.
Yeah,
That's a
that would
cool
be
story.
awesome. Awesome. Yeah. So, there you go. You'll see him up on the big screen and you'll be like, I saw him before. So, well, thank you, Jim, for being on the show today.
No, thank you, Tonya. I really appreciate being part of this fabulousness of a show.
All right, everybody. So get connected with Jim, reach out, say hello, and then join us for the next World's Most Fabulous People series.